The same code rules apply to both bathrooms and water closets. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, defines a bathroom as a room equipped with one or more fixtures for bathing or showering and at least one toilet. A water closet is defined as a room or compartment containing a toilet. Therefore, a bathroom is considered a type of water closet. All 125 volts receptacles in bathrooms must be GFCI protected, regardless of whether or not the bathroom contains a bathtub or shower. The NEC requires GFCI protection for all 125 volts receptacles located within 6 feet of any water source, including sinks, toilets, and showers. It does not make a difference if the receptacle is more than 6 feet away from any water outlets. The NEC requires GFCI protection for all 125 volts receptacles in bathrooms, regardless of their location. This is because bathrooms are considered to be wet locations, and there is always the potential for water to come into contact with electrical outlets. In summary, the same code rules apply to both bathrooms and water closets. All 125 volts receptacles in bathrooms, regardless of whether or not they contain a bathtub or shower, must be GFCI protected. This is because bathrooms are considered to be wet locations, and there is always the potential for water to come into contact with electrical outlets. Let's delve deeper into the specific requirements and reasoning behind these regulations. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are essential safety devices designed to protect people from electrical shock. They work by monitoring the current flowing in a circuit. If there is a difference of even a few milliamperes between the outgoing and returning current, the GFCI will trip, quickly cutting off the power. This difference in current indicates that some of the electricity is leaking to ground, potentially through a person who is in contact with both the electrical circuit and a grounded surface, such as a wet floor or a metal pipe. The NEC mandates GFCI protection in areas where water is likely to be present because water significantly increases the risk of electrical shock. Bathrooms are considered inherently wet locations due to the presence of sinks, toilets, and the potential for splashing and spills. Even if a receptacle is located more than 6 feet away from a water source, it is still subject to the GFCI requirement because moisture and humidity can spread throughout the room, and users may move portable electrical devices such as hair dryers or electric shavers closer to water sources. Now, let's consider the specific wording of the NEC related to GFCI protection in bathrooms. While the exact section numbers may vary depending on the edition of the NEC being used, the general principles remain consistent. Typically, the NEC will state that all 125 volts, 15 amps and 20 amps receptacles installed in bathrooms must have GFCI protection for personnel. The definition of a bathroom is crucial in applying this rule. As previously mentioned, the NEC defines a bathroom as an area containing a sink and either a toilet or bathing facilities such as a bathtub or shower. This definition is broad enough to encompass both full bathrooms and water closets, which contain only a toilet and a sink. Therefore, the GFCI requirement applies to both types of rooms. Some people may wonder why the 6-foot rule is mentioned at all if all receptacles in bathrooms require GFCI protection. The 6-foot rule typically applies to other locations where water sources are present, such as kitchens, laundry rooms, and outdoor areas. In these locations, receptacles within 6 feet of a sink or other water source must have GFCI protection, while those further away may not. However, in bathrooms, the GFCI requirement is more stringent, applying to all receptacles regardless of their distance from water sources. It's also important to note that the GFCI protection must be provided by a GFCI device, such as a GFCI receptacle or a GFCI circuit breaker. A standard circuit breaker will not provide the necessary level of protection against ground faults. GFCI receptacles are typically installed in place of standard receptacles and have test and reset buttons on their face. GFCI circuit breakers are installed in the electrical panel and provide GFCI protection for the entire circuit. When installing or replacing receptacles in bathrooms, it is crucial to ensure that they are properly GFCI protected. This can be done by either replacing the existing receptacle with a GFCI receptacle or by installing a GFCI circuit breaker to protect the entire circuit. If you are unsure how to properly install GFCI protection, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician. In addition to the GFCI requirements, there are other electrical safety considerations to keep in mind when working in bathrooms. Firstly, all electrical work must be performed in accordance with the NEC and local electrical codes. Secondly, it is essential to turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical components. Thirdly, use properly rated electrical tools and equipment. Fourthly, never work with electricity in wet conditions. Furthermore, it is important to regularly test GFCI receptacles to ensure that they are functioning properly. This can be done by pressing the test button on the receptacle. If the receptacle does not trip, it should be replaced immediately. Bathrooms often have specific requirements related to lighting fixtures as well. For example, lighting fixtures installed above bathtubs or showers must be rated for wet locations. This means that they are designed to withstand moisture and water exposure. Additionally, exhaust fans are often required in bathrooms to remove moisture and prevent mold growth. These fans should be properly sized for the size of the bathroom and should be vented to the outside. When planning electrical installations in bathrooms, it is important to consider the placement of receptacles and lighting fixtures. Receptacles should be located in convenient locations such as near sinks and mirrors, but they should not be placed where they are likely to come into contact with water. Lighting fixtures should be positioned to provide adequate illumination without creating glare or shadows. In conclusion, the NEC has specific requirements for electrical installations in bathrooms and water closets to ensure the safety of occupants. All 125 volts receptacles in bathrooms must be GFCI protected, regardless of their distance from water sources. This requirement applies to both full bathrooms and water closets, which contain only a toilet and a sink. By following these code requirements and taking other electrical safety precautions, it is possible to create safe and functional electrical systems in bathrooms.